Welcome to Kaks Bar and Podcast, Canada's first podcast bar. What that means is you can come here for food, you can come here for drinks, you can also come here and record a podcast. Come on down, we're located in downtown Calgary, Alberta in the Beltline area. See you soon. And we're rolling back today with Ben Cannon here. Ben's a comedian in Calgary. If you're unfamiliar, he was 2 episodes back. If you guys want to check out another previous episode that we did with Ben. But right now we have him on again because Ben's a comedian around Calgary, but he's starting his own podcast here. So yeah. I figured I'd get him on the show here and kind of I don't know, just get the ball rolling for this for you. Yeah. Hey, I'm excited for it. Like, what's kind of the style of the format for your podcast? Do you have an idea or?
Oh, I want to keep it pretty broad and just call it the Ben Cannon Show and talk about comedy, but also news and politics and different subject matters that, people in my network are able to talk about. Like, I think one of my first episodes will be about AI.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you, you have a guy that's pretty big in AI or something like that you're telling me that literally is going to be one of your guests here, I guess. So it's not just comedy then. That's basically what I gather.
Yeah. Well, he happens to be a comedian as well, so hopefully he can make it funny rather than just talk about, Terminator or Matrix future with AI. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
But
okay, so I don't know, man, like if this was your show, like how would you I'm a little curious just because I'm only used to you like through comedy, right?
Yeah.
So to be honest, we've gotten to know each other a little bit off the air, but I didn't know you're into politics and stuff like that. Like what would be like, what's something you want to dive into then? If it's like political, like do you, what are you politically, by the way?
I would consider myself a moderate politically, just by virtue of having grown up in an environment surrounded by people on all sides of the political spectrum, and I think there are good people on all sides. I like to take political issues on like a case-by-case basis and think about it. But I guess I don't know. I don't want to just say I'm a fiscal conservative, but a social liberal, because that's kind of a cliche. And
sorry, you're not. So you don't. But if you say you were a political candidate, you would have to choose a party, though, right?
Yeah.
But so, what would you say you are, or would you just go pure independent? And
yeah, I would probably go for independent because I don't know. People like that are like when Bernie Sanders was an independent for many years. He was in a bit of obscurity for a while, but then he was able to rise to prominence just based on the power of his ideas, and people listen to him more, I think, rather than
Ben, talk right in the middle square there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the side says mono on there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right about here?
Oh, yeah, you sound great now. Yeah, keep going. Isn't do you follow American politics then, or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, isn't Robert Kennedy an independent technically?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but he's basically right wing on all of his values, it would seem.
Yeah, I guess one of my more moderate beliefs with American politics is people make the joke about how oh, Biden or Trump, I like them both so much. But I think the whole point of a country like America is that it's not supposed to matter that much who the president is. It's like the people of the country have the power. So I think
it doesn't feel like that right now. I don't.
I mean, both sides try to paint a vision of the other person winning as catastrophic, but I think either way it goes, there will be pros and cons. And
So is your pod just more or less your opinions on things, or do you feel like you're the man for the job as far as analyzing the political landscape goes?
Yeah. I think, I just want to have, be able to have a variety of opinions. I don't know.
Man, your show might getting you in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because whatever, when it comes to religion and politics, is always, it's such a personal, well, not personal, but whatever, people feel so strongly about it, right? Like, I mean, literally, isn't that what wars are all caused by, and fighting and everything like that?
Well, I've stepped into the political arena a little bit in the past. I was in student politics at the University of Calgary.
Oh, no way. Okay.
I was
what's your degree in again?
A Bachelor of Arts in Law and Society.
Okay.
And so first I was an arts faculty representative, and then I was a program assistant for a year, and then I was VP Student Life for my last year at university. And during that time, I actually had a fatwa issued against me.
A what?
Do you know, it's like in Islam, it's like a holy order to kill this person.
Oh, no way.
Like, Salman Rushdie?
No, dude, I'm not too in the loop with any of this. So you were on a wanted list for...
Yeah, technically, because there was a conflict between the Palestinian Students Association and the Jewish club, Hillel. And Hillel wanted, because I was the vice president in charge of clubs being founded or disbanded, and they wanted me to disband the Palestinian club because the president of that club had written a poem that the Hillel club argued was hate speech.
Yeah.
And so they wanted me to disband the club on those grounds. Whereas I argued that I don't think the Israel-Palestine conflict is going to be resolved at the University of Calgary. And so until then, both clubs should be allowed to exist. And for that, they issued a fatwa against me. It was like this. It's because I got quoted in the National Post.
Okay, keep going.
And
did you say something pretty crazy on the quote, or
no? I just essentially took the Palestinian side. And so you would think, because Islam is more associated with the Palestinian side, but there's, I guess in Indonesia, there's something called like the Jakarta Muslim Zionists Association or something, which seems kind of paradoxical to be a Muslim Zionist, but I guess I just got added to this list that they sent me an email that's like, a fatwa has been issued against you by this organization. So, but that was about 10 years ago now, and nothing has come of it, so.
Okay, so, I don't know, man. People, forgive me again. I really don't know anything about this. But what this fatwa, like, what do they want you, like, what do they want happen to you?
I guess to be killed.
So, like, did you go to the police?
No, we talked to campus security, and they looked into it a little bit, and they didn't think it was a threat worth kind of.
Oh man, we don't care if you die or live, man.
Well, I'm just there for a year. I don't know. Our terms are a year, so
okay.
They didn't really care. But
so that, like, you're passionate about that, hey? Like this kind of stuff?
Yeah. I think, like, just because I'm a moderate doesn't mean I don't care about politics, or like, I like to learn about issues in order to come to my own conclusion about whatever the issue is. I like to try to stay as open-minded as possible. Mm-hmm. Well, but in this case, I guess I took the Palestinian side.
Well, kind of. You more took based on what you just explained just now, sounds like you took more of a neutral ground. You're saying you want them both to be able to have the ability to, well, you wanted both clubs to exist. That's what it sounds like to me. But, but I don't know how that, I don't know, unless I'm missing something here. Like, how does that mean you just took the Palestinian side?
Well,
right?
because the question was to disband the club or not. If I had taken the other side, I would have disbanded the Palestinian Students Association at U of C.
Okay.
Which
no, but if you took the other side, it means you disband both, right? Like
I guess that's true.
You're opting to not disband anyone.
Yeah.
And then the one side just took that as like, oh, well, then you're on the other side. Like,
yeah.
But that's, that's not, you're basically saying everyone can participate, not one or the other has to get excluded. It's kind of what I'm gathering. So it doesn't seem, unless I'm misunderstanding this whole thing, but I don't know. This whole thing's pretty hardcore, man. Like, cause so many people, this is like their entire like existence. This is like their very foundation of their belief, right?
Totally.
So I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. I mean, what's going on down there?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, and I mean, I've never seen the side of you, Ben, right? So yeah, and usually I'm just. But then again, the more I think about it, your jokes do have a political like twist to it.
Yeah.
So like every now and then you'll have a straight political bit. So
yeah, and I like to poke fun at both sides in moderate, true to my beliefs.
Okay, man. Sorry, like what do you think is the ideal system for a society then? Like I don't want to say if Ben was emperor for a day, because then that would mean you're a, whatever. Like that means you believe in whatever, not fascism, but like not monarch either, but whatever, like a ruler, like so like what? How do you think society? Like, what do you think it should be, man?
I guess I think of that Winston Churchill quote that says like, democracy is the worst form of government, but still like ahead of all others. I'm paraphrasing or whatever, but he's like, it's a system with many flaws, but it's the best system we have. I think most things I wouldn't change radically. If I was emperor for a day.
Well, again, yeah, if you were emperor, though, then that wouldn't be a free society because you'd be an emperor. I don't know. Let's say you're God. Let's just put it that way, okay? Like, you're God, all right? Like, and then, some people don't think you exist. Some people, like, 100% sure you exist. The happenings in people's life that they can't explain, they don't attribute to you. Some of the happenings in people's life, they always attribute to you. But you do design, like, all right, this is actually the way human nature is, and for it applies to almost every human out there, no matter what background. This is the best way for everyone to get along, to prosper, and to be able to grow this thing that we call the human condition to its next evolution. Like, what do you think it is a concept of, hey, everyone should be independently responsible for their own decisions so that they bring out the best in themselves, so that competition would be in a way a good thing, because we know that competition fires up people's will, to get after it. Like, or would you say no, things should be shared, like there should be constant you know what I mean? Like, basically we're reading all the main political systems.
To the first one, I'm probably more on the capitalism side than communism. I guess. I don't know. I think that I like.
We've already started, man. We were even fucking like, this is such a complicated topic, and people get heated on this stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's unavoidable now, because like everything's so it's starting to affect everything. Like, because there was a time where you don't have to participate in politics because. You just don't have to. You have all your needs met, but right now people's needs aren't being met, like financially, socially, spiritually. So it's like, it's reared its head again now. So it's kind of impossible to avoid.
Well, I think, have you heard of the president of Argentina, the new president of Argentina, Javier Milei?
No, man. And again, I feel a little bit bad that I don't, I have enough problems living in this country, trying to navigate through my circumstances. So, but fill me in.
But he's a libertarian,
okay,
and he's called like
that's what Dave Smith is, right?
Yeah.
What I listened to him on Rogan podcast. But what is a libertarian?
Well, I guess the best glimpse into his kind of perspective on politics and stuff, I thought, was at a speech at Davos that he gave this year. It might have been last year, but he talked about how capitalism is the engine that has been able to lift most people in the world out of extreme poverty, and that it's a good system.
I think sorry to interrupt, but I think too many people get wound up on capitalism as in making money, but isn't the spirit of it fundamentally more like everyone find out what you're good at and pursue that so that you bring out value to the collective, if you will? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because that's the way I perceived it. If money wasn't a thing, if we're in a Star Trek world, it's about people should all find out what they're good at, and then they should all be trying to get the best at those things, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, like that. That's how I perceived it. And then the money should be a whatever, a result, if you will, of that effort. You know, because if it's good, everyone's going to need your services, right? Like that's the idea. But when you make it about just about the money part, that's when it's hard to explain to someone who's not a capitalist, right? Because at the end of the day, like I'm an entrepreneur, so of course I favor the capitalism, right? Like, but at the same time, when you have talks with people, like they get pretty heated on that definition, because they feel like it means not being compassionate to I don't want to call them, they're not less, they're just whatever, not, they don't have as much opportunity or skill or like whatever, like the circumstances aren't as good, so there's no way they'll ever have a shot to even try to compete or something like that, you know?
Yeah. I follow a subreddit called Late Stage Capitalism, and it's pretty much just memes critiquing capitalism. And I think there's a lot of fair critiques to capitalism, and I think that I prefer living in a country in Canada rather than the US in many ways. For, the most notorious example is healthcare that we have here, that seems to be such a huge burden on the individual in America. But I still think that, I don't know, I guess capitalism with socialistic aspects is like
a blend of some sort, kind of.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, what doesn't seem like it's ever been able to gotten right, though, based on our understanding of things. Unless I don't even know what to really believe sometimes in history, because there's been so much information lately about that there's more than likely way more advanced civilizations in the past that we know of. Like, we keep thinking we're the pinnacle. Like, I think we've restarted like so many times, and this is just, we might not be anywhere near the pinnacle of what was done in actual, historical existence.
Yeah. Well, there's the Fermi paradox. I know about this. I learned about this. It's like, if we know that we have life on Earth, and we know from what we know about astronomy and other planets that we've seen in star systems and stuff, that there's likely millions of other planets out there that have similar circumstances to life that we have. So why, when we look up at the sky, don't we see other like alien civilizations and stuff just like running rampant around the universe? And some people say it's because the Great Barrier may be ahead of us, or the Great Filter, where, maybe life is common, but maybe it runs into the same pitfalls that we run into on Earth, that we worry so much are going to end all of existence for us. I don't know. Do you think the Great Filter is ahead or behind us?
I'm processing what you were saying there. Like, I don't even think I have a full grasp of what you meant by that. There's so much science fiction shows out there that already kind of point out the endless possibilities. I mean, the other day I watched like Deadpool versus Wolverine, and like the idea of a multiverse, and like there's probably a cosmic group up there controlling timelines, and then their job is based off of that. Like, and then you take a look at, from the top all the way down to as simple as like that animal on the street running around. Like, I mean, what's his perception of his reality, right? Like we only understand so much of what we're doing, and every day the more you learn, as the famous saying goes, you realize you don't know shit. and like how foolish you looked in the past, and like and how you continue to move forward, realizing you're actually a fool every day that you get up, because we keep thinking we're doing important stuff, but like we don't even begin to know, like, like just take a look at how this whole thing's interwoven, if you will. It's so vast and so complicated that like we, I don't know, man. I just know that you get up every day, and your decisions wondering about this stuff is good for sexy conversations. That's really it, because when it comes down to it, you're just kind of like, you get up and you're like, I'm hungry right away. I need food. And then it's like you go get the food, and then you're like, well, what do I need to do to make sure that I have more food? And then you're like, fuck, I have to go make this money thing. Then all of a sudden you're like, I don't like money, but you still need to use it, and then and then all of a sudden it's just, you're just kind of like, you're just moving around the obstacles that are always in your way. Because if it was this, say you're in this like whoop-de-doo parallel super free simulation, I don't know, Matrix style, like you would just be like, time to eat, fly, and then you like go grab like fresh sushi from Japan or something. Then you're like, okay, what do I want to do today? I want to work out, and you're like, fly to Venice Beach, and like you just be in this free state of doing things you want, right? But we're not. We're just solving our problems, and then we're left with these little trinkets of space in our day to think about the cosmos. So then you're like, you're telling me the amount of hours you put into thinking about the cosmos there's that you're thinking like that you have a full grasp of it, like like I don't know it, but it is like outside of this podcast here, I probably won't put much more thought into that for the rest of the day, unless like a podcast comes up that brings it up, right? Like I know what I mean. I don't know, it's like I guess, I mean, it's kind of broad what I'm saying, but it's almost like that's why I don't get so balls deep into politics, because I'm like, it doesn't change too much in the immediate, like unless we're talking about something that in the immediate, then we're all forced to partake. Something like when COVID happened, as in everything's shut down, then you're like, all right, how do I feel about this? Like, not feel like emotionally, it's like what do I think is happening, and how should this work, and whatnot, I don't know, I was pretty broad there, but in short, no, I don't know about the Fergie paradox. But I don't know, man. Like, what do you have to add to that?
Oh man, it's a lot to think about.
Do you like? Have you heard of the Anunnaki?
What's that?
So it's been getting a lot of popularity lately. It's apparently, the idea is that like Sumerian texts, like Sumerians, like the ancient civilization. Apparently, the transcriptions from their tablets, the drawings. Again, I don't know how these guys are able to transcribe that, but apparently they are, through other people transcribing it over the last couple thousand years, and then leaving enough clues for the next group to study it. And so, I mean, if every 100 years there's 3 generations of people, then whatever, take 3 times 2,000 years. That's how many generations of humans have been translating this Anunnaki text. I mean, the Sumerian text, but basically the idea now is that there's a race called the Anunnaki that apparently came to Earth first, close to 400,000 years ago. That's the number in that range. That's a wide range though, but apparently they're us, but giant. Like, and then they did genetic modification to the animals that were already on Earth, and we're the result of that. That's the idea. Ranging from, like, I guess most of it are the monkey related animals, if you will. But the idea is that we were created to mine for gold specifically for the Anunnaki, because that raw material is like their oil or some shit.
Okay.
And apparently the pyramids are these satellites, like they're just antennas, kind of like a 5G network antenna. And like there's this whole fucking thing going on. We're just these like ants. And then apparently the Anunnaki, like within their race, there's a bunch. It's like human. There's like Chinese guy, white guy, black guy. So in the Anunnaki, there's a bunch of Anunnaki. Like it's just a terminology. And like, so the idea is that like they are overlords, I guess, and they've taken off for now because they had other stuff to do, so they kind of left us, and then we're just mini Anunnakis essentially, kind of like,
Damn.
yeah, man, like
Looking for gold.
yeah, right. Like gold is always the weird one, right? And then Joe Rogan had on Billy Carson, who's like this is his whole life is studying this stuff. Billy Carson's this super smart black gentleman in his 50s, and when I listen to that stuff, it like goes, you know. And I know a lot of shows and movies have not, they have taken the idea of this for sure.
Yeah, it sounds similar to that Prometheus movie, the Alien.
Yeah, well, they probably
prequel?
got these ideas from studying the people that study the Sumerian texts.
Yeah,
You know,
damn.
it's trippy, man. When they look at some of those transcriptions and carvings, they show them holding these L's. It looks like little L, like the letter L. They think that's a laptop computer sideways. Like, so like they probably had all that, man. They, they're probably like, we're flying around in different vehicles that, so like, like we're actually primitive as fuck compared to them apparently. So
Nice. That's my new favorite theory. I won't even call it a conspiracy theory because it sounds more like history and possible thing that actually happened. But I guess my previous favorite conspiracy theory was that Paul McCartney died in 1966, and then they found somebody to replace him, and all the Beatles music doubles after that is like hints at that.
Yeah,
I don't know,
man. Like you've seen episodes of Simpsons and shit. Like they, like all those episodes where there's body doubles and those aliens and everything. And
yeah,
I don't know, man. What do you think about like humor the idea that perhaps the Anunnaki are real? Okay, like that would explain a lot about how people are. And what I mean by that is if we're just programs for a greater species, then of course, just like a chessboard, you have your pawns, you have your kings. Like you need a whole bunch of soldier guys to do the hard work.
Yeah.
Right. Then you need a couple of leader guys to give the soldier guys direction.
Yeah.
So, and then then when you see someone who's kind of not as good as you,
yeah,
overall in the totality of life, and you used to think, well, maybe he's not trying hard enough. Maybe that person's maximum effort. You know what I mean? Like, because that's just his role. Maybe his programming only goes that far. Like he literally cannot think past like being a grunt laborer or some shit.
Yeah.
And then you got your super smart guys like who are supposed to be fewer and smaller in between, like your Elon Musks and stuff. I don't know, because do you sometimes feel like you've reached your like ceiling on certain things that you're trying to learn? But then other things you seem to have unlimited potential in, like comedy. Like some people can never create a joke out of thin air and tell it in front of people, right? But for some reason that's like your thing, and then you discovered it because maybe that was your programming.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. If this is my full potential, and
in comedy or just in general?
Just in my life and different things. I think generally I'm like scared to know what my true potential is. So maybe I like try a little less in a lot of things to like.
What do you mean by that?
Comfort myself into the like, oh, well, if I was really trying, I could do it for sure. But then keep it in the theoretical.
Well, but why? Why is it because of if you were tried harder, do you think it would bring more joy to your life or more stress?
Probably both, I guess. Like, I don't know. This is getting into like the deep self-doubts and stuff I have about myself.
We all have that, man. And
I think it's like a thing to just be cognizant of and always be working on to make sure you're not falling into the trap of like being afraid to succeed.
I don't know. I think people aren't afraid to have money. They're just afraid to have attention, I guess, too much and then draw in a lot of conflict, maybe,
Yeah.
Because like the better you get at something, like you're gonna have more to deal with, it's a very real thing,
Yeah. I think about that in comedy. Like, it seems like a lot of people who rise to great fame and fortune in comedy sometimes regret it or have these messages, like, people like Jim Carrey who say, like, I wish everybody could be rich and famous so that you learn that it doesn't mean anything and that kind of stuff. Like,
well, but then you got someone like Joe Rogan who doesn't spread that message at all. I don't know. I think it's just so diverse. I don't know, but yeah, like it. There. I don't know. There's so many ways to segue from this point, and it's all fascinating because it's not like we don't notice it, but when I don't know, man. Like let me ask you this: it's like who's your favorite comedian, by the way?
Of all time?
Sure,
Robin Williams.
Okay, so say you and Robin Williams like are hanging out right now. Robin Williams is like your exact age right now. We'll go back in time, okay? But we know he's Robin Williams. He has Robin Williams skills, like. And you guys are performing, and Robin Williams laughs at your stuff and says, "Man, Ben, you're pretty funny." And then you laugh at his stuff, like, "Robin, you're pretty funny." And then at that exact point, though, Robin's like, "You know what? I'm going to take this all the way," And then he's like, "You should do that too, Ben." Like, but then you end up not going all the way like he does or whatever, right? It's like, wouldn't you be sitting there wondering, like, why didn't I just go all the way? If that guy thought I was as good as him, you know what I mean? And you kind of know what I'm asking. It's like then it was just you that didn't do the journey, like, obviously the journey's fought with has a lot of perils in it, though. Like Robin Williams probably didn't tell you, like, man, so weird, like I thought I'd just be telling jokes, but by the time I got to that level where I was telling jokes for 100,000 people, all of a sudden, like, I got 30 phone calls from these new people saying that, hey, I can get you more money, your agent sucks. Now all of a sudden I'm sitting here like, wait, but I like my agent. And then they're like, oh, okay, fine, stick with him. Stick with your 1 million. With me, you can make 20 million. And then you start to think about, well, I don't need the 1 million. But then you're like, whoa, but with 20 million, it's like, it's not just boats I can get. It'd be like, look how much more of an impact I can have. Cause once that now all of a sudden you have these problems, then you're, like Robin Williams was divorced like how many times? Like, for a guy who's, so then maybe it was better to play it safe and just enjoy the art at a local level.
Yeah.
It's like, these are very tricky questions. It's kind of like you said you love Aladdin. So it's like, do you really want it? Do you really want the wish to come true? Be careful what you wish for, right? Kind of thing. I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know. Better to try your best and not have to worry about whether you tried your best or not at the end of your life, I guess. Unless
you have programming that is like, maybe you can't. Maybe that's the best you can do because the Anunnaki programmed that way, right? Like, because like, do you think the pawn on the chessboard, say the pawn on the chessboard, like, oh, I'm just a pawn, but really, if I trained harder, I could have been a rook or a queen or a king. But it's like, no, bro. Like, you're a pawn, like I'm starting to think that way sometimes, but I don't like thinking that way because it's like
pawns. Can't you get your pawn to the end of the board and then it becomes a queen or something?
Yeah. Hey,
the most powerful character in
the queen has to be dead already, but like I mean, there's so many analogies to that. I don't know. I just really believe in you can't have limits because if you have limits, like I know this sounds almost delusional, but you got to use your imagination because, like, in a weird twisted way, if Michael Jordan was in front of me right now, he's like, "Yo, let's play 1-on-1 to 11," right? And I'm like, "Oh fuck!" Like, now I'm not saying you beat him that day. You probably 10 times out of 10 times he'll smoke you 10 baskets to none or whatever it is. But in a weird way, if you're like, well, like if you gave me 10 years, you have to believe that with all the endless possibilities of life, there's a chance that you could score 5 on Michael Jordan. Like you could bring out your potential somehow. Like I don't know, like maybe you learn to shoot the ball like this, like just like every time, like you run all the way up half court, you do that move, right? Like I'm just using my imagination, but so it's like because if you have limitations, why do anything?
Yeah.
If you know you're just gonna be a pawn, like why do anything? What if you can't enjoy being just a pawn because you have an ego or whatever? It'll eat you alive, and then all you got left is booze and drugs and cocaine. Welcome to podcasting, man. Like I've done 140 something of these now, and you never know where the conversation goes. You set some points, but sometimes you just catch on a rhythm, and you're like, well, this seems like it's more important to figure out right now than But switching gears very briefly here, Ben's we're doing a comedy show again.
Oh, yes.
August 15th, I think.
August 15th.
Okay, so it's August 15th, guys. Keep a lookout on our socials to promote it. It's going to be like a midsummer comedy show, but it's also Ben Cannon's birthday. So it's Ben Cannon's birthday comedy show. Everyone's invited. What are we going to do, $5 tickets? Or
yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's $5 tickets. How many comedians are you going to get for that one?
I think we're shooting for about 6.
6 comedians? Okay, sweet. Yeah, so everyone stay tuned. Come down and laugh with us in the middle of summer here.
My cousin's going to be here from Winnipeg for that show.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, the only difference is like due to the sun and the way Kaks' room is set up, it won't be as dark. So unless we want to do it later, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Maybe take that in consideration. Do it a little later, but it'll still be on the Thursday. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll people stay tuned for that one here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there we plan to put back comedy shows back in the fall. Once September rolls around, there'll be consistent comedy again back at Kaks here. It's just the summertime. The scene is a little bit you guys like to go out, enjoy the sun and stuff. So, so we just kind of like, all right, cool. Like we'll take a little hiatus here. Well, how many guests do you potentially have lined up already to want to start your own podcast here?
Just one so far, Harrison. But I've been working on who I'm going to invite.
Yeah.
I got a little list.
All right. So was it, everyone has different styles of format, but are you going to have a comedic approach to everything, if you will?
Yeah, I hope so.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's the way you...
I like to get... I don't know. I guess I want to treat serious matters with the appropriate gravitas and not be disrespectful or anything, but I think you can bring a comedic lens to pretty much anything, and hopefully, people that find it more palatable makes it easier to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. So will you have loads of comedians on it? Because you, I put out so many local comedians on this podcast here, and I love that shit. So.
Yeah. I would like to have, it's like, it's nice to be able to, because people are so busy, get comedians that I don't get to have a long conversation with before or after shows. I don't know. Get to talk to them. Yeah. But also just...
you probably have like hundreds in your back pocket to like reach out to, hey?
Yeah.
Like even people from the past and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I think there's going to be no shortage of guests on your show here. Yeah. Super pumped that you're going to be filming them out of the Kaks Bar and Podcast studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. This studio is also available for rent. Shameless plug. Visit kaksbarpodcast.com under the rental section if you ever want to start your own podcast. Yeah, no. Right now, hey man, what do you think of the U.S. situation? Then going back to politics, do you think Trump's just going to win handily, or?
If I had to bet on it, I think it's looking like he's ahead.
Isn't he majorly ahead ever since that assassination attempt?
Yeah, but Harris has gotten a bump over Biden, from what I understand in the polling, and Yeah, like I said, there would be pros and cons to either of them winning.
What would be the pros and cons right now? Like, what do you think?
Well, I guess a major con for us in Canada and especially in Alberta of Trump winning, because he wants to drill baby drill and make America like the top energy producer in the world. It'd probably drop the price of oil.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a con for us. But then, I guess he's committed to. Oh, I don't know. This is harder to talk about on the podcast than just. I gotta practice at it, but I guess
I don't know, man. I wouldn't say you gotta. Well, no, you do have to practice, but it's actually, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Everyone's different, man. Like, I mean, if you take notes down, and you're like, you want to tackle these things, then sweet, But if some loopy question gets thrown, it's like you don't have to think on the fly. You're not trying to impress no one. You're just like, what do I think about that? As far as what do I understand about that?
Because I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody with my opinions. I don't think anybody takes my opinion with too much weight anyway. It's like
wrong approach. Because like, why are you doing this then? You might offend people. That's what's going to happen. I had an episode of mine pulled right from YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even choose to, man. YouTube just let me know, like, we're pulling this. You were spreading misinformation technically, and I was, I didn't even try to fight it. I was like, that was just how the conversation unfolded in real time. All right, if you feel like you have to pull that, then,
Yeah, I guess that's a danger of it. I guess,
but that's a real conversation, right?
Yeah, I wanna have people on my show that are like representative of the different opinions that I'm faced with all the time. I have friends who are, pretty extremely devoted to one side and the other.
Yeah. What do you, how do you handle those moments? How do you handle moments that you strongly disagree with on something crazy like politics? Or do you find a way to get along with everyone still?
Yeah, I guess trying to think of an example where I encounter somebody that I strongly disagree with. Because I can find perspectives on any side that I agree with. Like, I have, well, maybe I shouldn't talk about that.
That what? Find a way to skirt around it and give me just enough clues because I'm curious now.
Yeah. Like, well, I guess I don't really spend too much time with him anymore, but I knew a man who was associated with Antifa.
Yo, what was that whole thing again? Can you just summarize that for me? I kind of that's just a super right-wing movement, right?
No, Antifa is left-wing.
Left-wing, okay.
Anti-fascists.
Anti-fascist. Oh, okay.
They kind of deploy the tactics of fascism to counter fascism. It's like...
So they're hypocrites.
Well, like, especially when it comes to potentially, like, political violence and stuff. Which, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about political violence. People in America with the Trump assassination and everything, everybody was like, America has no room for political violence. But if I'm not mistaken, America was born from a great big act of political violence.
Yeah.
The Revolutionary War.
Yeah, man.
It, not to be an advocate for political violence. I don't know. Man.
Well, like, people for sure, look, I guess it goes back down to the U.S. is like, First Amendment, right? Like, you should be allowed to, say what you think.
Yeah.
You should be allowed to do that. I mean, what was that old famous quote? Like, I do not agree with what you have to say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
Yeah, Voltaire.
Is that Voltaire? Okay, because it's true. Because I otherwise we're mental slaves.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But right now that's not really there anymore because the layers of perception on any topic is so diverse, man. It's like, people can take one thing, something someone said, and just completely have a different like reaction, interpretation to it. Like gaslighting, that term gaslighting, it's like, what gaslighting is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, that's so powerful right now because I feel like everyone's conversation is just some form of gaslighting, like on the internet, especially. It's brutal. It's like I don't know anymore, man.
Power dynamics.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess one thing is I've noticed on that front is to you think you have an opinion on something, but when the time comes for you to take action on it, you'll know if you actually truly how far in the spectrum that you actually are devoted to that opinion. Yeah. It's no different than someone saying, like, it could be anything, like, oh, I would take a bullet for that guy. The time comes as a gun. It's like, did you take the bullet or not? Right.
Yeah.
Or oh, I'd fight that guy. The time comes, he's in front of your face. Did you fight him? Like, I would do this, I would do that. The time comes. Did you do it? Like, that's how you know. And it's uncomfortable because you got to put yourself in those situations. I mean, I've been in loads of those now, not those scenarios I said previously, where I thought I would be like, I'll do this in business if this happens. And then it happened and I didn't do that,
Yeah.
And I was like, and I had to live with it because I was like, wow, I guess I'm not the man I thought I was, Wasn't that necessarily negative or positive thing. It was more like, I'm like, well, if I'm more soft stance on that, then what the fuck else am I soft stance on? And I surprised myself where I do like a hardcore move sometimes where it's like, oh, could never do that in business. And then I do, it could be anything. Like, yeah, there was times where it was just like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, price should be this. No, price is going to be that. And it's like, no, man, price should be that. And it's like, okay, I'll concede. We'll go that number. And then day comes like, nope, like it's this number. I'm like, oh fuck, I guess all along I was a bit more ruthless than I realized. Like that's like an example, right? Like I don't know, it's like you got to constantly just put yourself in scenarios and see how you actually act, and try not to lose your emotions and mind to it, because like it does cause a lot of mental health disturbance. I've noticed, because I don't know, man. Like say you thought you were I don't know, man. It's like a comedian. Like, say you thought you're funny, and then you go up, and then you just bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb, and and then you keep reminding yourself, no, I know I'm funny. They just don't get it. I just got to work on this. Like, and then all of a sudden, one day, 20 years goes by, and you're like, oh, it turns out I was never funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I don't know, man. It's so tricky. Sometimes life is so painfully unfair that I don't know how to take it sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah, like I mean, like look at Rogan, for instance. When he was growing up, in comedy, he was explaining. There were so many comedians back then that told him, like, "You're not funny, man. Like, you should quit." Like, and then he's like, "Oh, this guy's a pro," telling me. Like at that time, that guy was like a Joe Rogan to him.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reasons, he's like, "No, I know I have something there. I just got to keep fucking around with this and trying it." So he tries it, and then after a while, he hit a point where he's like, "No, I believe in myself again." But like. Every indication was telling him not to do it, like they were saying, like, you're not funny. And it's like, but like he just listened to himself. But there's some people that they had that same approach, but their life is just, they're actually not good. No one thinks they're funny except for themselves. Like what they think is humor is not humor to anyone else, so it's like, so I don't know, man. But then you get lone wolf weirdos sometimes that everyone tells them like, oh, you're an idiot, this is wrong. And then they stick to whatever the fuck they're doing, and then all of a sudden Like, look at Hitler. Like, cosmic tournament. You know, he was completely like told he was like not good at art. He was stupid. Like, he was like, he had no girlfriend growing up. He was like a blueser. And then all of a sudden he starts talking about his political opinions in beer houses in Germany. And like, and all of a sudden he got like a momentum. And next thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's like because he believed in what he was saying. So I don't know sometimes, man. I think, is it like that? Like, you just believe? You just have to believe no matter what? Like, you know, but it's super hard when things aren't coming to fruition, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, man. Just more food for thought on, you know, it's pretty broad what we're talking about. But all right, hey, man. So switching gears again here. You were in BC recently?
Yeah.
Yeah. What, for a comedy show?
A couple comedy shows and to visit some family out there.
Okay. Yeah, how'd that go? You were trying to tell me, like, what... Sorry, man. You told me this yesterday. And I just can't remember right now. Like, what happened at the show you were doing? There was something about like a constant fire alarm that was supposed to go off or something like that. Like,
oh yeah, I guess one of the venues I performed at in Vancouver, the Little Mountain Gallery. It's now in Gastown at the base of an apartment building that themed.
There's a bar called the Mountain Gallery.
The Little Mountain Gallery,
and it's a bar.
It's a comedy venue.
Oh, okay.
I guess they have like 3 different theaters. It looked like within the venue.
Nice,
it's pretty nice.
It's full. Like, was it packed?
There was about 20 people or so at the show that I did.
Okay, but you said there's 3 theaters in there.
Yeah.
3. Okay. So what's the? I'm sorry, I just want to get a feel for this. What's the capacity then? Like per theater.
Looked like I went to the 8 o'clock show as well, and seemed like there was about 50 people or so in that one.
But what's the potential? Like, how many seats?
Oh, it seemed like you could. The show that I did, they just had seats for like the 20 or so people.
Oh, okay.
That were there, I guess, who bought tickets. But it seemed like you could probably pack like 100, 200 people in there, I'd say.
Okay. Sweet. So
yeah.
Legit comedy club.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So you performed there, wicked, man. Were you the headliner or?
No, I just did a spot on the Pro-Am show.
Oh, okay. All right. Like, you just contact them and say, hey, I'm flying in, like give me
yeah,
spot.
The executive director of Little Mountain Gallery is a man named Brent Constantine, who went to U of C here and started
that sounds like a badass name. Brent Constantine.
Yeah. He started the U of C. Oh, like Constantine from the comics?
Yeah. I never knew what his first name was. What's Constantine's name for the comics?
I don't know.
Brent.
Yeah.
My name's Brent Constantine.
But
anyway, go on.
He's the executive director there now. And he was the one who pretty much got me to start in comedy. Like, we were volunteering at the campus TV station for a while. And then he started the improv club. And he was looking for people to be a part of the improv club one day for like a workshop in Mac Hall. And then he went out to Mac Hall and he saw me and he grabbed me and he pulled me in. And that was my first time really doing it.
This is before your mom passed away,
right? It's around the same time.
Right. No, because in the last pod you said like you took up a comedy right after your mom passed. Okay, so
it's around the same time.
Okay. So like that happened, then this guy found you at Mac Hall, basically.
Yeah. I think I did improv before I did stand up.
Oh, okay. My bad, man. Okay, yeah. Improv. Sorry, my bad. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It happened. Do you remember the news story of Balloon Boy?
No.
I guess some parents put their kid in like a hot air balloon type thing, and then it like they like lost control of it, and it like
how was the kid?
I think it was like an 11-year-old boy or something.
Oh.
But
so he's just in the balloon and it just started going up?
Something like that. And I think he was able to get down safely.
How? Do you know how to pilot that thing? Is it hard? I don't even know.
I forget. I got to look up Balloon Boy after. But in my first improv skit, I was pretending to be Balloon Boy, I think. So that gives you an idea of the time frame of it.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm chuckling. It'd be nice to know more about Balloon Boy. I don't know, man. I'd be fucking freaking out, man.
I'm just gonna quickly Google what happened to Balloon Boy to make sure. Balloon Boy hoax. Let's see. The Balloon Boy hoax occurred October 15th, 2009, when a homemade helium-filled gas balloon shaped to resemble a silver flying saucer was released into the atmosphere above Fort Collins by these people. Then they claimed that their 6-year-old son Falcon was trapped inside it. Authorities confirmed the balloon reached 7,000 feet during its 90-minute flight.
Jesus.
I guess it was a hoax.
Oh no. So the boy wasn't in it at all.
I guess not,
Fuck.
according to Wikipedia.
Okay, well, never mind. God. Because I don't know, man. Like, I can see how that could happen, though. Say I don't know, like you're about to put the thing up, and he just falls in there, and I don't know, like trips and grabs it when it just starts going up. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like I think I saw that one article about like there was a bear that got stuck in a car, and they couldn't like get himself out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then like the car was just destroyed on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't know, because the bear, I don't know how he got in the car, and like I don't know how he like the windows were up and everything, and then he's like freaking out and like just completely fucking like had a spaz attack because he couldn't figure out how to go like like open the door or whatever, you know.
Bear stuck in a car.
Yeah, but that just shows you again the intellect's different. This bear knows how to hunt fish. He knows how to like track animals. Knows how to lower his own like body temperature to hibernate. But he can't open a fucking car door. Yeah, I guess it must be harder than it looks to an animal. Because in Jurassic Park, the fucking Velociraptor was like clever girl. Like you have to give her props and shit. Oh fuck, man. Oh god. Yeah. So anyway, your show in Vancouver. Then the sorry, I fucking totally interrupted you on that. What was that fire problem thing that you're telling me?
Oh, I guess it's like at the comedy club is at the base of kind of an apartment building, I guess, where people will just randomly pull the fire alarm, and then they have to wait for the fire department to come to turn it off. So they have to do an announcement before the show, like, in case of a false alarm, please evacuate, and then come back in for the remainder of the show. Which seems like a challenge.
Yeah, it sounds fucking annoying. Why? So did that happen?
No, thankfully not during the show that I was on.
Who was the headliner then that night?
I believe it was.
Was he like Canadian famous, if you will?
It was the first I've heard of her, Casey Novak. Well, I guess I'd heard the name before, but I'd never seen her before. But she was really good.
Okay, sweet. Fuck yeah, cool. Do you have any more out of town shows then?
Not booked right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I may be taking a trip to Ontario at the end of the month, or
where in Ontario?
Maybe into the next month. To go visit some family on my dad's side of the family.
Yeah,
in Toronto and Sarnia.
Okay. Sarnia is a small town outside of Toronto, or?
Yeah, okay. I guess it's closer to Windsor.
Yeah.
Because my dad is from there, and he was a lifelong Detroit Tigers fan.
Are you gonna do comedy out there then?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, sick. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, yo, Ben, I'm gonna wind this down here. All right, guys. Yeah, so like, stay tuned for all the information about the Ben Cannon birthday comedy show.
Yeah.
August 15th, we're going to do it. Okay. We'll get more details for everyone to come. Just check our socials, check Ben's socials, our socials. It's all going to be in the show notes there. And then, keep an eye out for Ben's podcast there, the Ben Cannon Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. How soon do you think your first one will be? Like in a couple of weeks, or in a week from now? Maybe tomorrow, or?
Yeah, probably within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, sick. Sweet. Okay, yeah, man. Yeah, everyone, if you're into comedy and politics and from Calgary, I guess, or wherever, stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.